Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm just back from the gym, so forgive the casual attire, but it's been an incredible weekend. I was kept up half the night last night by my new baby, a new Aussie cat kitten. Now he's very shy, we've only literally had him one day. He hasn't even got a name yet because the name I had in mind for him I don't think really suits him, having met him for the first time. But he's utterly adorable, so keep an eye on my Instagram and my Insta stories for sneak peeks and maybe some ideas about names for me. Anyway, so today's video I thought I would do, based on a request, was to do a video on how to look after your skin on a long haul flight if you're lucky enough to be jetting away for some winter sun, or even jetting away for some winter snow, but either way, to look after your skin when you're on the aeroplane. So I thought I would share with you what I normally do on any air travel that is longer than 4 hours. That's kind of my benchmark for deciding whether or not I take it all off and do a proper routine, or whether I just kind of grin and bear it and fix myself up at the other end. So to start off with, I've taken one of the lovely Glossier pink pouches, which are just about the right size to gauge your toiletries for on-board travel anyway. So convenient if you have a spill, not so difficult to clean, and yeah, they're just quite cheering, aren't they? So the first thing I do is to cleanse. Now, one of the few situations I permit a no water cleanse is on an aeroplane. I find that the Bioderma Micellar water, the pink one, comes in at 100 ml size, so you can get it into your onboard travel bag easily. And it's just convenient. Now, I still might use some water to cleanse off my Micellar lotion. I don't particularly like the feeling of anything left behind on my skin when I'm cleansing, but it means that you're not literally trying to splash your way to removing cleansing goo and getting your feet wet and ooh, awful. So yes, this on a cotton pad. So I'll pack a couple of cotton pads and these will go in my travel bag. So those are essential if I'm taking my makeup off, and I will often cleanse before I get on the plane. So I'm kind of ready to get into my routine. I don't have to worry about queuing up for the toilets. So that's how I cleanse when I travel. Now, what I do next will very much depend on night versus day travel. So if it's a simple daytime flight, you know, long haul or whatever, I will just tend to focus on hydration on the flight. Now, skin-wise, that means topically, I'm going to be applying moisturiser almost incessantly. I will literally check in with my skin after moisturising, probably every 45 minutes to an hour. Is it tacky? Is it moist? If it's not, reapply, and literally go through that feedback loop over and over again. Now, the moisturiser that I found through many years of travelling and needing to be on form at the other end that works best for me is the Obaji Hydrate. I just find it gives me long-lasting moisturisation without being too clogging or shiny making. I just find it gives my skin the comfort it needs to sort of de-stress the whole process of travel. Alternatives also include CeraVe, their moisturising facial lotion, or the Avene recovery cream. I know it's one of my favourites, but it's particularly good on planes because it's really non-irritant and supportive and rich with shea butter and glycerin. So that's really awesome. So moisturise, moisturise, moisturise. Now, if I'm traveling at night, that means I want to get all my usual benefits from my retinoid. So I will carry my retinoid on the plane, and for me that means 0.025% tretinoin or Retin-A. Over the counter, you might like to try Avene, their Physiolift range, La Roche-Posay's, Dermatological, or even Medicate. Their retinol range is excellent. I still like to get those benefits. I wouldn't suggest this to a new retinoid user to be the first time that they use their retinoid, because of course we're combating a low humidity environment. It wouldn't be the ideal situation. But if you're an established retinoid user, there should be no problem with using your retinoid. And if you are on the dry side, and we know that the dry air is going to compound that, put your moisturiser on first and apply a smaller amount than usual over the top of your moisturiser. I don't tend to fuss about carrying antioxidant serums and the like for a daytime skincare routine. I don't worry too much about missing a single application, but I like to always get my retinoid onto my skin, in as much as because I tend to break out when I travel, so the last thing I want to do is to risk losing some of that control. The final thing, skincare wise, I will always try because I always decant a little bit of spot cream into one of those handy little Muji travel pots, simply because it is the one time when my skin can get very stressed, and particularly if I'm traveling somewhere where I'm meant to arrive looking like I know what I'm doing. I want some sort of safety mechanism. So for me that would be Duac on prescription, but equally something that's 2% salicylic acid from Origins or Neutrogena would be a good option as a rescue blemish treatment. Final thing skincare wise is lips. Lips always get dry, and at the minute I'm loving the NYX Rêve de Miel lip balm, and I will, again, much like my moisturiser, constantly reapply that. And I should make the point that once I've got my retinoid on, once it's absorbed, I will reapply moisturiser as often as I need to, still doing the tacky skin test to make sure that it's moist enough to reduce the risk of me drying out, especially if I'm going to fall asleep for a period of time. So we got all that in the bag, and it looks something like this. We have then still got space for some cosmetics, and I don't know about you, but no matter what time of day I'm arriving at the other end, I always like to at least feel a little bit pulled together. So for me that means concealing dark circles, a little bit of coverage just in my T-zone where I tend to get a bit red when I'm tired and my skin's a bit stressed out. And a little bit of something rosy, you know, and then a little bit of brow control. So that means I will carry on some Stila Convertible Colour, and this is in Camellia, and that's good for cheeks. And cream blush means you look fresh, doesn't look too dry, nothing's going to cling to any unsightly dry patches or any fine lines. And you can also double that up and put a little dab on your lips and bring all your lip together. I will now these days use my Velvet Matte Foundation Stick from Nars, so convenient for travel, and with the great little sponge applicator at the end, just you can blend things just a little bit in the T-zone, but do keep it clean though. I will take some Q-tips for tidying up, and I just love these little pointy ones, and the yellow is so cheering. And you know, I may or may not take my mascara off. Sometimes I would just sleep with it on because, you know, life is easier that way, and then just tidy up some micellar water at the other end. Makes a bit of a mess under the eye mask, but sometimes life is too short to worry too much about those sorts of details. And then a brow tidy up, and I'll use the Kevyn Aucoin brow pencil in brunette. And then some under eye concealer, and this one's Sizzling. Really moisturising format, so again, really good and forgiving. You know what, that's just about it. So I think the space is well used. I have a full arsenal there. I could probably go to dinner straight from the airport with that little kit. The final things, just in terms of boosting hydration, I do genuinely find coconut water really, for me, is more hydrating, and I really enjoy the taste of it. So I think that kind of sugar electrolytes balance really suits me, and especially when I'm flying, I'm always on the dry side, so I just find it makes me feel less tired when I arrive, and I think it's good for my skin too. And I will marry that up with good fats. I will actively seek out nuts, oily fish, avocado, those sorts of foodstuffs, to ensure that I'm doing my best to ensure that from within my barrier function is well supported to hang on to as much precious water as possible. I'm not going to lie, I'll have the odd glass of wine, but I think in general, if you balance it out with, you know, the right fluids and the right foodstuffs, keep your salt intake down. I can't emphasize that enough. There's nothing worse for creating puffiness around the eyes than high salt content food, so be very careful of things like sushi with soy sauce when you're traveling. But I think if you follow those simple tips, you can arrive at the other end looking pulled together and ready for your winter vacation. I hope those tips are helpful. Please let me know, and if you like the channel, please subscribe. Bye for now.